Hello and welcome to this roundup of the highlights of the last year's deal activity in North America. Most of the activity this year has focused on high-value mergers, along with acquisitions and divestments as companies focus on core producing acreage, particularly in the lower 48. In Alaska, ConocoPhillips made an FID for the development of the Willow project in December 2023. In June 2024, Eni agreed to sell 200% operated fields to Hilcorp. In Canada, in October 2023, Total Energies exited its Canadian upstream assets, selling its Fort Hills oil sands asset to Suncor and its interest in the Surmont oil sands asset to ConocoPhillips. In November, Crescent Point agreed to acquire Hammerhead. In January 2024, Calumet sold its Canadian subsidiary Blackspur to Ostara. In June, Advantage acquired Charlie Lake and Montney assets from a private seller for $445 million. In August, Tourmaline agreed to acquire Crew Energy, and Gran Tierra agreed to acquire i3. The lower 48 has been particularly active for deals in the last year. In October 2023, Civitas bought producing properties in the Permian Basin from Vencer for around $2.1 billion, and ExxonMobil announced its acquisition of Pioneer Natural Resources, valued at $59.5 billion. In November, MNR acquired Anadarko Basin acreage from Paloma Partners. In December, Oxy announced the acquisition of Crown Rock. In January 2024, APA announced its acquisition of Callon, and Chesapeake and Southwestern announced a merger valued at $7.4 billion. In February, mergers were announced between CRC and Aera, valued at $2.1 billion, Diamondback and Endeavour, valued at around $26 billion, and Chord Energy and Enerplus, valued at $11 billion. In April, Equinor agreed to swap its Appalachian Basin asset, plus $500 million, for 40% of EQT's interest in the Northern Marcellus Shale. In May, Crescent announced its acquisition of Silverbow, APA sold non-core assets in Texas for $700 million, and ConocoPhillips announced its acquisition of Marathon Oil. In June, Mosman sold its interest in NADSoilco to RCM Tech Solutions, as it pivots to focus on helium and hydrogen. Echo sold Permian and Anadarko Basin assets to Sixth Street for over $500 million. Matador acquired a subsidiary of Ameridev. TXO purchased assets in the Elm Coulee and Russian Creek fields. And SM and NOG agreed to acquire XCL's Uinta Basin assets. In July, Devon acquired the Williston Basin business of Grayson Mill, valued at $5 billion. Vital and NOG acquired PEP's Delaware Basin assets for $1.1 billion. And Oxy agreed to sell Delaware Basin assets to Permian Resources for $818 million. In September, APA agreed to sell additional non-core Permian Basin assets for $950 million. In the Gulf of Mexico, in October 2023, Chevron announced its acquisition of Hess, which is currently awaiting regulatory approvals and discussions around Hess's interest in Guyana's Stabroek block. In November, Karoon acquired interests in the Who Dat, Dome Patrol and Abilene fields from LLOG. In December, Shell made an FID for the Sparta project and bought Mitsui's 20% interest in the Kaikias field. In January 2024, Beacon made the FID to develop the Winterfell discovery. Talos agreed to acquire Quarternorth for $1.29 billion, and W&T Offshore acquired 6 fields from various operators for $72 million. In March, Beacon sold its non-op interests in Buckskin, Leon and Castile developments to Gom1 Holdings. In July, Beacon made an FID for the Monument project. Repsol increased its interest in the Monument, Bobcat and Lucille projects. BP made an FID for the Cascada project and farmed into Hess's Vancouver prospect, which is currently drilling. And LLOG acquired 41 blocks in the East Breaks and Alaminos Canyon areas. In August, Shell made an FID for the Vito Waterflood project, and Talos acquired a 21.4% working interest in the Monument project for $32 million. North America is covered with detailed geotechnical analysis by NVentures North America and Gulf of Mexico service, where you can keep track of activity and gain fresh insights into what will be shaping the industry in the region. NVentures also manages the EarthMoves GIS datasets, and all of our products are delivered online with simple, easy-to-use GIS tools. Thank you for listening.